Is changing your mindset enough for peak performance? Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the benefits and limitations of changing your mindset for peak performance, as well as what I consider a more holistic and robust approach. And then we're going to end with something you're not going to want to miss. This is a very powerful guided practice for entering an ideal state of being, for thriving in high pressure performance situations like being on stage or in the recording studio or in an audition, something like that. So let's get started. There are a lot of performance coaches out there who talk about the benefits of changing your mindset in how you approach a performance or a practice situation. And this is great. This is really helpful because obviously just doing repetition, just practicing and repeating things, getting in your 10,000 hours might not be sufficient for really thriving under pressure. And if you find that you crack under pressure in certain ways, you have performance anxiety, or you get really tense, if things just aren't flowing up on stage, then sure, changing your mindset can make a really big difference. For example, we often have subconscious mindsets, like thinking of performance as a means of avoiding shame and rejection. And if you have performance anxiety, that might be your unconscious mindset. So changing your mindset to performance as being an opportunity to shine, or like thinking of your audience members as being naked, those can help relieve some of the pressure and help your performance improve up on stage. However, mindset alone, while powerful and necessary, isn't really sufficient for thriving creatively under pressure. You can gather all the evidence-based, science-based, psychological tips and tricks that you want, but will doing so really give your performances soul? Will doing so help your performances become alive and authentic? Will that give you a sense of purpose, flow, absorption in what you're doing, fulfillment? In other words, is mindset alone sufficient for soul force? My opinion is probably not. Mindset is, again, necessary, but not sufficient for soul force. It's a piece of the picture, but not the whole thing. So what else do you need? You need, including mindset, you need body set and soul set and spirit set. I wish there were real terms for all of that. But you basically need to consider all aspects of your being. And so this is what I call a whole being approach. One of my mottos is whole self, whole art. And it's only with considering all aspects of your being, mind, soul, body, spirit, that you can truly flourish creatively under pressure. So here's how you can get started with your whole self, whole art approach. And this will lead into the guided experience. So if you want to write any of this down, or at least make a mental note of what we go through, that'll be really helpful. So let's think about a time when you cracked under pressure. You're in the recording studio or up on stage or performing. There's lots of eyes on you and things aren't going well. So think of a time when that happened for you. I can think of plenty of times for myself. And we're going to consider what was happening for you at all levels of your being, not just your mindset, not just technically what you were doing up on stage, but at all levels of your being. So physically, maybe you noticed you're feeling tense and sweaty and kind of awkward in your movements. Emotionally, maybe you were feeling fear or sadness or shame. Mentally, you had certain thoughts going through your mind, like I'm not good enough, or if I make a mistake, I'll be rejected. And spiritually, maybe you felt disconnected from your creative flow, disconnected from a sense of purpose or things like love and truth. So what do you notice in those moments when you kind of crack under pressure? Why don't you share that in the comments below? And now we're going to take a look at your ideal situation, your ideal performance experience. So ask yourself how you'd like to show up instead in that exact same kind of situation. So physically, how do you want to feel? Probably something like relaxed, effortless, fluid. Emotionally, how do you want to experience yourself? Something like calm, joyful, loving, something like that. And what are your ideal experiences mentally? So what are your thoughts like? Are you more focused? Are you thinking empowered kinds of thoughts like I can do this and I'll be okay no matter what? And spiritually, what's your experience? Are you connected with the feeling that of joy, knowing that you're doing what you were born to be doing? So again, think through all these different layers of your experience and go through and find what you'd ideally like to experience in those high pressure situations. And then again, write that in the comments below. Maybe you can put those into one comment. So you have the before and after kind of written down for yourself. And so now this brings us into the actual guided experience. So this is called a polarity meditation. Polarity is something where you have the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the masculine and the feminine, right? It's just two sides of the coin. And here we have two sides of the coin of performance. We have the not ideal, the crumbling under pressure, and the ideal, the thriving under pressure. And basically, this practice is just putting your attention on one and then the other, on one and then the other, and noticing how that impacts your body. And this is, again, where this kind of practice goes beyond merely a mindset shift. Mindset shifts are great and necessary and sometimes can change everything for you, but oftentimes it can just be an intellectual exercise, a concept, and that doesn't produce real change. For something to have a real change, it needs to happen in your body. So that's why we focus on the body in this meditation, this polarity meditation. So here's sort of a formula you can use. You're going to start with the non-ideal, and then you're going to go to the ideal. When I perform, I sometimes feel X, your not ideal experience. And for simplicity's sake, I'd suggest just starting with one layer of your experience, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever, and rather than trying to get them all in at once, that'll be too complicated. So to make it simple for yourself, like when I think about performing, I sometimes experience tension and anxiety. All right, and then what you do with your eyes closed, you notice what that feels like in your body, that tension and anxiety. You're imagining performing, and you're feeling that tension and anxiety. Just for a couple seconds. And then you switch to the other side. But I'd rather feel joy and bliss. Whatever is true for you. All right, and then you close your eyes and you feel joy and bliss in your body. You're imagining performing and feeling, actually feeling that joy and bliss in your body. And you stay with that for a couple seconds. Right, and then you just go back and forth. You go back and forth maybe 5 times, and then you check in with yourself. Well, how am I feeling about performance now? And you might notice you're a little bit closer to an ideal state. Something has opened up inside you. And you can keep going. You can take that actually really quickly. It might take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of doing this, or maybe doing that over a period of a few days. But you'll be able to open yourself to a more ideal state of being for performance, and one which includes all layers of yourself: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. All right. And what this does, why this works so well, is that it produces a long-lasting, resilient, durable change. Changing yourself at just one level doesn't really work so well. It's not resilient. It's not durable. But inviting your ideal change into your body, into all levels of your experience, creates a permanent, lasting change. It becomes part of who you are, part of your being. And that's really what we're going for here. We're not looking for just an intellectual change or just a physical change, right? That's the limitation of thinking of technique only. Like if I just do this with my body, then I'll get the result. Like, yes, that can be true, but again, that's only focusing on one level of your being. But if you focus on all levels, you have this whole self, whole art approach, then the changes that you make are much more resilient and long lasting. And will give you your performances the effortlessness, the flair, the ease, the confidence, the aliveness and depth that your soul, your creative soul, most longs for, and what your audiences most long to experience through your performances. All right, well, I hope you found that helpful. And if you did or didn't, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know about that. And if you'd like to learn more about this whole self, whole art approach, if you want to know like, where this came from, where's the origin of this approach, then you can check out my book. This is where it all started. My book is called Soul Force: How to Discover Your Artistic Purpose, Create More Freely, and Make Art That Matters. You can go to soulforcearts.com/book to check that out. It's on Amazon and everywhere else online that you can get books. Okay, that's all for now. Please like and subscribe to this channel so you can get more videos like this on soulful peak performance and effortlessness. Okay, see you next time.